In the headlines, Lagos State government shut down Christian schools indefinitely amid rape allegation. Bandits kill 1, abduct 10 in Zaria. Stakeholders in Katsina admonish religious tolerance. And away from Nigeria, United Nations says more than 4.9 million Ukrainians have fled their country following Russian invasion. Hello and welcome to Trust News Updates. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. The Lagos State government has shut down Christian schools indefinitely amid allegation of rape. A 10-year-old pupil of the school was said to have been raped by her schoolmates during a trip to Dubai. The incident sparked outrage on social media, with many calling on government to act. In a statement on Monday, the State Ministry of Education said investigation into the matter was ongoing. The state government disclosed that the allegations of sexual violence involving students at Christian school are being investigated by the relevant ministries, departments and agencies, including the Ministry of Education, Office of Education Quality Assurance, Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Ministry of Justice and the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. The statement jointly signed by the MDAs revealed that the criminal allegations had been escalated to the Commissioner of Police. And on security matters, bandits on Friday night invaded two communities in Dudes and Abba ward of Zaria local government area and abducted 10 persons and killing 1. The bandits, according to sources, invaded Gabari village around 11 p.m. Friday night and abducted 1 teenager after breaking into the house of one Ibrahim Maishago Gabari, shooting sporadically. They proceeded to abduct 8 more persons in a nearby village of Kafin Mardani after a house-to-house raid which lasted hours. Trust TV learned that after intense fighting and gun duel with security operatives who responded to distress call, the bandits abandoned their captives and took to their heels. Confirming the incident, the father of the abducted teenager, Malam Ibrahim, said his daughter, Fatima, was rescued unhurt shortly after her abduction. Troops of the multinational Joint Task Force has eliminated no fewer than 100 Boko Haram Islamic State of West Africa province terrorists, including 10 key commanders in Lake Chad region. Chief of Military Public Information for Multi-Joint National Task Force, Colonel Muhammad Dole, in a statement on Sunday, said the forces successfully hit the enclaves in a well-coordinated land and air offensives. Dole said the offensives were conducted under Operation Lake Sanity, joint operations involving the multinational Joint Task Force troops of Nigeria, Niger and Cameroon, and troops from Operation Hardin K. Dole said that the troops raided the insurgents' dens in Zanari and Inawoje, which served as a major fabrication workshops, and several other locations around the islands from different corridors in the last 1 week. According to him, the terrorists were neutralized following intelligence-driven lethal airstrikes in the Lake Chad Island by the Combined Air Task Forces. Olu town in Imo State is still a ghost of itself 24 hours after a gun battle between some gunmen and members of the Ebubeagu security outfit left 2 people dead. This was an aftermath of the deployment of soldiers on the wake of mayhem unleashed on the community by the Eastern Security Network, the militant wing of the outlawed indigenous peoples of Biafra, IPOB. Our correspondent, who made attempts to go to Olu, was advised to go back at Umwaka by some motorists coming from the troubled area. Among those killed was said to be a musician identified as Uroko Nwadikwe. One of his friends, who is movie actor and an indigene of Olu, narrated how he saw security operatives allegedly shooting at civilians during the clash between bandits and security men in the area on Sunday. He said security men shot indiscriminately at doors and windows of houses as people ran to escape bullets. The actor, who pleaded anonymity, said apart from his friend, a teenager and woman were killed in his presence. The police is yet to react to the incident, as the police public relations officer, CSP Mike Abatam, could not respond to inquiries on the incident as at press time. Christians in Katsina have been charged to embrace God and spread love. The Very Reverend Father Joseph Fine made the call during his Easter Sunday sermon at St. Martin's Parish, Katsina. Similarly, the Special Assistant to Governor Masari on Indigenous Nigerians, Honorable Prince Uche Okonkwo, has urged Christians and Muslims in Katsina to use the opportunity of Easter and Ramadan to embrace God and spread love. Jamil Mabai has the details.
These Sunday Christians congregated in places of worship to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
If you can cook for us. If you take us out, take us out. If you can do anything, take us for a ride. I will glorify the name of the Lord on your behalf. Hallelujah.
At St. Martin Catholic Parish, Katsina, Very Reverend Father Joseph Fine led the service with the message of peace and love.
And so on Friday, Jesus was crucified, and then he rose today. And that is why today is a day where the Christians should be happy with even non-Christians. Show them love. Show them the spirit of tolerance. Show them the spirit of forgiveness. And sharing whatever God has blessed you with the less privileged.
Church leaders took opportunity to call on leaders to preach and to spread love, and above all, learn to extend the hands of forgiveness to one another.
Of the acquired practice.
The grace of forgiveness. Even those in the purgatory, He gives them the grace to meet God. Easter has already made a provision where you will come and ask for forgiveness, denounce sin, and embrace light again.
So amidst this kidnapping and banditry, we are all called to be patient and to adhere and put on into prayer. And even amidst the evil being perpetrated upon us, we should also show love in the long run.
So Easter, it's a moment of showing love to our neighbors, to our friends, even our enemies, and reconciling ourselves to those who have offended us. We forgive them and we ask for their forgiveness.
The Special Assistant called on Christians and Muslims in Katsina to use the opportunity of Easter and Ramadan to embrace God and spread love. Easter is a principal festival of the Christian Church, which celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ on the third day after his crucifixion. Jamil Mobai, reporting for Trust TV, Katsina.
Muslims in Edo State over the weekend converged at the Benin Central Mosque for the Ramadan lecture put together by the state chapter of the Federation of Muslims Women Association in Nigeria. Trust TV correspondent in Benin City, Nafisa Bello, reports that the menace of domestic violence and possible solutions is stressed. The report.
The Ramadan lecture, which held at the Central Mosque, Benin City, the Edo State capital, had in attendance Muslims from all walks of life who took time out to reap from the blessings of the holy month. As the resource person spoke extensively on reconciliation in Islam and dealing with a declining marriage and ways of increasing happiness in marriages.
We have cases whereby the women torment their husbands, that the husband will not love to come home because of the problem the wife gives to him. He would rather stay away. Why you see some men, they go to beer parlor, they stay till 11 before they come home, is because if they come home, the problem the woman will heap on his head, it will be too much for him to bear. So he would rather go somewhere and relax.
It's our nature to disagree sometimes. We belong to different tribes, we have different nature, so we must disagree sometimes. But as Muslims, in Islam, you must reconcile. In fact, Prophet say, make it not pass 3 days. No matter how the thing pay you, make it not pass 3 days.
On why the choice of topics, the Edo State Amira of the Federation of Muslim Women's Association in Nigeria, FOBWON, Hajia Rabi Abiri and Hajia Umeima Momo said the topics were selected based on the increase in cases of domestic violence in the society, adding that it is high time women speak up and speak out.
The topics were sent from the national, that we should pick the one we know that is more crucial in our area. That is the area, our circumstances, the way they are behaving in our area, and what is happening in our area. So each state should choose the one that that will go well with the community and what is happening in the country.
Religion teaches us to obey, to be reserved, and so even when they are going through so much, they keep quiet. But we are saying today that keeping quiet might not be the solution. You might be going through so much violence in your home. The husband beating you, abusing you, both whether physically, verbally, emotionally, and then you keep quiet. A time will come, if it does not affect your mental well-being, then of course it could just kill you. The case of Osinachi is there for everybody to hear. Nobody knew she was going through that until she died. So we are urging women, if no matter what you are going through in your husband's home, if any form of abuse, speak out.
The Ramadan lecture is an annual event put together by the Edo State chapter of the Federation of Muslim Women's Associations in Nigeria, Form 1. Nafisa Bello, Trust TV News, Benin.
Northern groups under the aegis of National Youth Inclusive Governance Organization Northeast Zone has called for the inclusion of more youths in governance. They have also criticized politicians for using them as tools for violence and destruction. The youth groups made this call at a press briefing at the end of a one-day roundtable meeting held in Bauchi State. Adamu Imam has more.
The convener of the meeting, Yusuf Sharif Banki, says for democracy to thrive in Nigeria, young people must play an important role that will help determine the political future of the country. This, Banki says, can be achieved by engaging political actors with demand for inclusion and equal participation.
To create confusion, to create, insecurity, create problems in their own respective communities. And most of them took their children abroad to study. The children of the poor, myself and others, most of us that you are seeing here, have nowhere to go. We have no houses in abroad. We have nowhere to go. So if we succeeded in destroying this country, where do you think we are heading to? Nowhere. So we remain in Nigeria to die. So my advice is not just for the politicians, but also to the young people.
He also explained that Nigerian youths have since embarked on aggressive mobilization across the country to get inputs and resources that will further accelerate youth inclusiveness.
If you refuse to empower the people, the children of the poor, if you refuse to give hope to the children of the poor, then the danger ahead of us is worse than the time bomb that we are having. So Nigeria is actually sitting on a gunpowder, unless otherwise, unless they take steps to correct these anomalies, to correct these mistakes that they have made for many years. The future of this country belongs to all of us.
The groups lamented the relegation of youths to debasing tasks like posting and distribution of campaign materials, singing and dancing, among others, and noting that such will not augur well for youth and the Nigerian democracy. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up shortly.
Domains. Sani Aliu is a security and
individuals sanitize their board of the dead. There's some more coming shortly.
As the 2023 elections draw near, Remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Thanks for staying. You're watching Trust News Update. Here's a look at the top stories again. The Lagos State government has shut down Christian schools indefinitely amid allegation of rape. Plus, bandits on Friday night invaded two communities in Duteng Abba ward of Zaria local government area and abducted 10 persons, killing one. And on political matters, Kabiru Marafa on Sunday denied dumping the All Progressives Congress for the People's Democratic Party. He stated this while debunking reports that he and a former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, have finally defected to the PDP. Marafa noted that they are into negotiations with many political parties that have invited them to join them in the state. He stressed that considering the injustice meted out to the people of Zamfara by the former APC national leadership, several parties approached the former governor's faction to join. Earlier, the PDP chairman, Colonel Bala Mande, retired, told journalists in Gusau Sunday that the party received Yari, Marafa and other top APC members who had joined the party together with their supporters. The chairman maintained that Yari, Marafa and other top APC members will be officially received in Gusau in a colorful ceremony. Now, cemeteries house the dead, and this function makes people to often bother less about the environment around them. This act, though not deliberate, made Aliyu Abdullahi to take up the responsibility of volunteering to see that the abode of departed souls, known as graveyard, are decent enough for loved ones to be laid to rest. Abubakar Abdullahi visited Lafia Central Cemetery and files in this report.
Some of the activities here at the cemetery are digging of graves, arrangement of materials needed to decorate the graves, interment of the deceased, among others. With the assistance of other volunteers, Aliyu Abdullahi, who is in his 50s, ventured into the work of digging graves and carry out other activities required for the final interment of any deceased brought here, with the aim of making this final journey of mortal men more honorable. Prior to taking this job years back, the graveyard was without proper management, and activities in the cemetery were being allowed in the hands of families or relatives of the deceased, and sometimes organizations without recourse to the negative effect. Head of the grave diggers, Aliyu Abdullahi, said their voluntary services brought a lot of sanity to the cemetery.
Dalilin zo in yi wannan aiki.
My reason for venturing into this work is because of the dilapidated condition of the graveyard. For now, almost every part of the cemetery is damaged with growing grasses and other things. Some people commit atrocities because of lack of fear of God. And if there is death, people call and inform us about the measurement of the disease. He admitted to facing the challenge of interfacing with what he called human spirits and snakes when he just started.
A farko lokacin da na fara aikin din, nakan fuskantar wasu abubuwa na tsorata haka nan da
From the beginning of the job, I faced scared creatures, but God knows that I am doing the job with utmost sincerity. He protected me against the scared creatures. There is a snake taller than me, and it was threatening my life. But after submitting myself to God, I am protected.
da bukatuna har Allah Ubangiji ya sa wannan macijin ya san ni na san shi ya saba da ni.
While calling on government to give proper attention to the cemetery, the grave digger said his effort and those of some volunteers of other graveyards within the metropolis have been rewarded with a token by the local government authority to encourage them. It is observed that the cemetery has facilities where corpses, especially unidentified ones, are prepared before interment. He joined the management of the cemetery to call on the public to assist in the provision of basic materials required for the operation of a standard cemetery.
Ina kira ga da babban murya masu hannu da shuni.
I'm calling on healthy individuals in Lafia and beyond to invest not only in this cemetery but others to seek for heaven, as God has given you the key to it. Abubakar Abdullahi, Trust TV News, Lafia.
Now, over 463 houses in 3 local government areas in Cross River State have been destroyed by windstorm, and out of the 1,326 households was affected by the effects of the windstorm. According to reports, the affected local government areas are Obudu, Yala, and Ogoja. Zonal Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, South, Godwin Tepiko, has said that his team conducted assessment tour following a Save Our Soul report from the chairman of Obudu Council area, Boniface Erai, after the windstorm incident on April 12, 2022. In Obudu local government area, the team visited the affected communities of Bebone, Abonke, Ebuagbon, Igbo, and Okurutun. Tepiko said that the windstorm that occurred in Ogoja local government area on the April 5, 2022 affected Ishibori, Ukele, Ogboje, and Agbakpa communities. According to him, 337 households were affected by the disaster, while several houses and property were destroyed, including economic trees. The Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria has vowed to sanction Sterling Bank PLC over a controversial advert which compared the resurrection of Jesus Christ to agege bread. In commemoration of the Easter celebration, the bank had published an advert that said, like agege bread, he rose, quote and unquote. The post was shared on the bank's pages across various social media platforms. The development generated a lot of angry reactions on social media, particularly from adherents of the Christian faith. Many people who reacted in the social media demanded that the post be pulled down, describing it as insensitive and insulting to the Christians. They also asked the bank to tender an apology. The bank complied by pulling down the offensive post and replacing it with another one. The bank also tendered an apology. The Abuja Environmental Protection Board says it may lock down some government offices, hotels, plazas, and other business premises due to debts owed the board. The director of AEPB, Oslama Brahima, made the disclosure in a statement on Monday in Abuja. Brahima explained that the measure was coming on the heels of the task team set up by the FCTA Permanent Secretary Olushade Adeshola to recover over 10 billion naira owed the AEPB by several government agencies, business premises, and residential apartments. He said that the task team had been mandated to apply all legal means to recover the money from debtors. The director explained that the debts accrued over time due to the failure of those concerned to pay for services rendered to them by the AEPB. Now, away from Nigeria, more than 4.9 million Ukrainians have fled their country following the Russian invasion, the UN said Monday, as it warned of risk of women and child refugees being exploited. UNHCR, the United Nations Refugee Agency, said 4,934,415 Ukrainians had left the country since Russia invaded on February 24th, indicating an increase of up to 65,396 as of Sunday. The UN's International Organization for Migration says nearly 215,000 third country nationals, largely students and migrant workers, have also escaped to neighboring countries, meaning more than 5 million people in all have fled Ukraine since the war began. It is one of the fastest growing displacement and humanitarian crises ever, with women and children accounting for 90% of those who escaped. And in sports news, head coach of Nigeria's under-20 men's national team, the Flying Eagles, Ladan Boso, has called up 40 players for the WAFU B under-20 championship slated for Niamey, Niger Republic in May. Team Secretary Aliyu Ibrahim said the players are to report to camp in Abuja on Monday. According to reports, the list was made up of 4 goalkeepers, 12 midfielders and 17 midfielders and 7 forwards. The Flying Eagles, who are 7-time African champions, will play in Group B of the WAFU B Championship alongside perennial rivals Ghana and Burkina Faso. The biannual WAFU tournament, which serves as qualification for the Under-20 AFCON in Egypt 2023, will hold from May 7th to May 20 in Niamey. The top 2 teams from each group will progress to the semi-finals of the competition, and only the 2 finalists will qualify for Egypt. Host Niger Republic, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and Benin Republic will slug it out in Group A. And that wraps up Trust News Update. But you can connect with us via our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch more. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.